It's that lunchroom chatter podcast, you know? Where you sit up and think about fucking your girl's best friend, but you can't because your girl's a fighter and she'll fuck you up. This that lunchroom chatter podcast where you lay up and think about being a porn star, but you can't because you come too quick, so you gotta eat the pussy for 95 minutes. That kind of shit. This that lunchroom chatter podcast where you in bed at night thinking about beating your meat, but you can't because you live with your mama. And she bust in the room and say, bitch, get the fuck up. Mama, why you ain't knock on the door first? This that kind of shit. Where you can be yourself, where you can relax, where you could put yourself into the mind of another nigga. So stay tuned. Let's get this shit popping. Lunchroom chatter podcast, baby. Yes, sir. Right now, you already know you guys are stepping into that lunchroom. So right now, if you at work, you home, you in the car, or you in the bathroom taking the shit, trying to avoid your fucking partner, get comfortable, man. You are now locked into that
brand new LCP.
Now, you know, every single week I always say we got a lot on the plate, but this week we got a fucking lot. We got the In Vogue member who came out and said she is sleeping in her fucking car. We also got the high school teen, I believe it's high school, middle school, one of them shits. And she hit the chick in the head with the fucking baton. Now she is making rounds on the news. You know, she coming out saying that her mental health is impacted. You know, she's trying to get, you know, the school and family to rally behind her because in her defense, she said it was a fucking accident. We got comments from Anthony Mackie on men no longer being pressed. Just some shit. It's a lot of shit we got to get to. And so like I said, man, I want you guys to sit back, relax, and be comfortable, man. And I want to clap it up because you guys out there, man. If you love the podcast, man, make sure you share the podcast on your social media, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. And again, you guys who want to contribute extra, my Cash App is $NYC Story 718. My Venmo is Lunchroom Chatter Pod. So let's get into the shit. Like I said, I know by now you guys seen the news on your fucking timeline, man. A high school runner was hit in the head with a fucking metal baton during the race. She damn near fell down. She had a slight concussion. They said she might got a little fracture also. But for you guys who might not be privy, let's take a quick second. Good morning, America. Talk to your boy.
One runner hit another in the head with a baton. Janae Norman here with the story. Good morning, Janae.
Hey, George, this is a crazy video that you have to see. It's unimaginable, unsportsmanlike conduct on the track. This morning, a high school track star is still recovering nearly a week after being hit on the head by another runner during a race. Junior Kaylin Tucker was running the second leg of the 4x200 relay in the Virginia State High School League Championships when the shocking incident happened.
That's when she hit me with the baton.
Watch again as you see the two sprinters running side by side as they round the corner with Kaylin on the outside, Kaylin's mother cheering her on. Just as Kaylin is passing the other runner, the athlete swings her baton, striking Kaylin.
I just felt a bang on my head and then I fell off the track immediately.
Kaylin dropping her baton and reaching for her head.
The whole Coliseum pretty much gasped. I just jumped up out of the bleachers immediately and ran to her. On the main floor.
The 16-year-old was later diagnosed with a concussion. The family says neither the athlete who struck Kaylin nor the other team's coaches checked on Kaylin or reached out afterwards.
To see that they kept running and she not stop and check on my daughter, that was the part where I was like, it couldn't have been an accident.
The other runner who attends IC Norcom High School has not been named. Kaylin's parents say Norcom's athletic director and the girl's father apologized in a phone call, but they're still waiting for the opposing athlete and her coaches to reach out.
We definitely want the coaches and a personal apology from the actual athlete as well, because it's only right.
The Virginia High School League saying in a statement, "We thoroughly review every instance like this," adding, "The VHSL membership has always made it a priority to provide student athletes with a safe environment for competition." Meanwhile, Kaylin's parents say that they're still waiting to see what disciplinary actions will be taken against the other athlete before deciding their next step.
We gonna boo, but I was talking to somebody on IG about this shit, and I told her, I said, I guess the culprit in this instance, she is a teen, so I do want to give her grace because now anybody who's seen the video, to me, it looked like either she was mad that the runner got in her lane, or maybe she was upset that this girl was passing her. And in the moment, you know, to me, it looked like in the heat of in the spur of the fucking moment, she swung that fucking baton, pow, and hit that chick in the head. Now, she came out and she said it was a mistake in that, you know, she's dealing with a lot of bullying on social media, online. And she said that she believes that the victim and her family are not being mindful of her mental health. So I want to boo for a quick second, because I don't know what you got, but to me, that shit don't make no sense.
Jesus Christ.
Like, if you swing some shit and you hit me in the fucking head, I don't give a rat's ass about your mental health. But again, she came out, she's making the rounds on the news. You know, she's speaking up about, you know, the fact that she wants people to look at things from her point of view and see her side of the story. So she also came out and she spoke, and I got it queued up. This is what she said, because we got to find out what she had to say. So this is what that girl had to say, man, when she came out and she said, look, I ain't even hit the little bitch on purpose. Okay, that's what she said. But I want you guys to hear it from her words and her mouth directly. Talk to your boy.
Tonight, a Portsmouth family says they're telling their side of the story in reference to a shocking incident at a Virginia High School League indoor track meet that left one athlete allegedly injured after she claimed she was struck by a baton held by IC Norcom High School senior Alayla Everett. Everett spoke exclusively to 10 on Your Side's Markeisha Jackson, who brings us much more.
The young athlete in question says there's more to that video than meets the eye.
Everybody has feelings, so you're physically hurt, but you're not thinking of my mental, right?
Alayla Everett is a decorated athlete and senior at IC Norcom High School. She would have never thought her trip to the Class 3 track and field state finals last Tuesday would take a drastic turn.
They're going off of one angle.
Alayla visibly emotional because of this video from the meet. This was a 4x200 meter relay race, and she and a Brookville High School athlete were rounding a curve on the track when they nearly collided with each other.
Okay, after a couple times hitting her, my baton got stuck behind her back like this, and it rolled up her back. I lost my balance, and when I pumped my arms again, she got hit.
It appears intentional, but Alayla says it was accidental.
But I know my intentions, and I would never hit somebody on purpose. I didn't have to see your first video, second video, 10th video. I know 100% that she won't do this to nobody.
Her parents outraged at the backlash. The IC Norcom relay team was disqualified, a ruling that a local USA track and field official finds questionable. He says a play-by-play look shows that the Brookville athlete was running.
All right, boo bitch, I don't got here no more. Like I said, to me, whether it was intentional, whether it was a quote-unquote mistake, or whether there was another reason for this little girl getting cracked in the head with a fucking metal baton, I don't know. But one thing I know that should have been said is, I'm sorry. Regardless of the reason this happened, where the fuck is the I'm sorry? I'm sorry, you know, it was a mistake. Just fucking apologize, man. I think back to my mom, especially my grandma. Like, my grandma would have held me accountable immediately. She was like, I don't care how the fuck that baton smack that chick in the head, go say I'm sorry. Because regardless of the reason, there is a girl who has a concussion and a possible skull fracture. If she would have came out right away and said I'm sorry, this shit would have been done. But as you come out and you continue to make excuses for yourself, it was a mistake, it's not what it looks like, they're not thinking about my mental health. Now, this shit that could have fucking disappeared in 24 hours is now still lingering around because your ass want to come on here and do some bullshit. Boo, bitch.
Jesus Christ.
But now something else that was making the rounds. Now, I was going to save this until later in the show, but now an actor by the name of Jamal Willard. You guys probably know him for playing Biggie in the movie Notorious. He was on a podcast. Oh, let me get you queued up. He was on a podcast, I think Atlanta Black Star podcast, if I'm not mistaken, and he was on there, and he expressed why he himself prefers dating outside his race, meaning why he chooses to date women that are not black. Now, before I dive into the clip, ladies, I gotta talk to y'all for a second. Now, every time these fucking clips, these videos go viral, it becomes you see, this is why black men, just please, what one guy said does not speak for all of us, okay? Especially, like, if you are not somebody out here who's gonna date this motherfucker, why does it matter? Like I hate when celebrities say some shit and now because a black man says it, now magically the words of one black man now becomes how every black man feels. We got to stop that shit. I know you're lying.
Ooh, you a lie.
We got to stop that shit. Because I seen the clip, I chuckled at it because these are the fucking clips that always go viral. Like if he would have went on that fucking podcast and said black women are beautiful, I love black women, the clip would not have gone viral. It would have not made the shade room because it would have been too positive. So, like, weirdly, I can understand why people say shit like this because this is how you get attention. This is how you, quote unquote, go viral. Now he probably gonna go on a fucking whole podcast tour explaining why he dates outside of black women. To me, I don't give a fuck. Like Sully said episodes, I think last year sometime, people are going to date outside of their race, especially in 2025. He mentioned the fact that people go overseas, they study abroad, they go on vacations, and you are going to meet people of other races. That's not a if, that's not a maybe, that is a fucking fact. As you travel, and as he said, as the world opens up, you are simply, like, if you black, you gonna meet somebody white. You gonna meet somebody Spanish. You might meet somebody Chinese. Like, you gonna meet people of other fucking races. Now, again, I don't think he really, I'm speaking about the actor. I don't think he really, just explained himself in the best manner. But when we spend too much time on these clips and make them go viral and, oh my God, he's a fucking piece of shit. Nigga, come on. But this is what he had to say. Jamal, talk to me. Why do you date outside of your race?
Me for dating outside my race. But I was dating outside of my race because they was doing things better than my race. I'm gonna keep it 100.
Define better.
Well, not better, because I know where she getting ready to go. Not better.
I know. You said they were doing things better. I want to know what better meant.
Not better. I'm going to change that.
I'm trying to save you for the people,
I know you is. That's
for the
why
culture.
I'm saying not better. For the culture.
There we go.
Right. Not better. I was dating Puerto Rican. I was dating Dominican. I was dating African. I was dating all type of other really size American black. Right? They were doing way more of what we expect we want our woman to do more than our American. Our American got real comfortable with.
Give me some examples.
Oh man, I mean, their mannerisms are different. Like even my Indian one was from Syria, one of them countries over there, right? I didn't have to really say much to do and be treated like a king. You see what I'm saying? A lot of times with our own American black, they expect so much of us and what we're supposed to do. Like things like, if we go out and eat and we just have a nice dinner, we can go anywhere and eat and get a nice dinner. It had to be Rue Chris, or it had to be this, that, or it had to be this, that. Then I get somebody that's just as fine, a Cuban or a Colombian. They don't care about nothing. They care about you and your household. Even though they still care about the money, but it's not about the money. You understand what I'm trying to say? It's a difference. Not better, but sometimes we get tired of hearing, Birkin bags, sushi.
Do you think that's fair? Because I feel like there's a certain type of woman that does demand that.
Right.
And to me, I think it depends on the bait you're using and where you're looking. If you're going to go get a model from Instagram that got the BBL, the snatched in stomach, and has all the things that check off money hungry and surface, you're going to get that. If you're going to meet a girl and through different ways and ask different questions, you're going to find that out a lot earlier on, that what's important to her.
I'm not doubting that, but I'm just talking about even if you look on just a regular dating app and just look at what a woman may state that she requires, I'm saying these things because it feels as if social media again is the barometer Okay, and it's the comparison.
That's
and when
a
you're
fact.
comparing yourself to all these other women, and of course, even with the BBLs, because I'm like, that's fine, but I mean,
What's BBL? I'm sorry.
Brazilian butt lift.
Oh, okay.
I want to clap it up, man, because like I understand what he's trying to say, and like I kind of agree with some of what he said, but I don't think he really expressed himself in the way in which he should, because as the second guy said, like if you put yourself out there on dating apps, like it's fucking draining, especially as a man. Like coochie, vagina, pussy, like that's out there. But I feel like, it's again not all, because I fully believe that there are very mature, amazing black women who still exist. But the same way you see so many women say, it's tough to find a good black man, like it's becoming the same way on the reverse, because a lot of, I feel like, again, not all, but I feel like so many women now, they basically want to become your daughter, to where, hey, I'm going to date you. I want you to do this, 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 and this. And, I'll give you vagina. So I don't mean daughter in the aspect of becoming your daughter, but I'm talking about in terms of being fully taken care of. Because, if you're a dad and you have a daughter, you got to, like, that is somebody you have to provide for, because that is your child. And of course, in return, you get love, and you hope that, that your child is appreciative of it. But dating has definitely changed, man, especially when you look at, as he said, social media has been kind of measured as the fucking barometer now. I've dated somebody and like everything is going great, but now they become more addicted to social media now. TikTok, they up on their phone late scrolling all day. And now you begin to see this celebrity woman. You begin to see your friends have these fantasy relationships. You begin to see memes and watch these Netflix shows and these love shows that show, perfectly crafted, edited versions of a perfect life. And now you think the grass is greener on the other side, when a lot of times it's not. A lot of times people may really be in a good relationship, but because it's not as perfect as what they see on TikTok, they begin to quote unquote self-sabotage. And that's something I've gone through in the past, to where I had somebody self-sabotage, because I was in a good relationship. It was good. It was great. It was peaceful. It wasn't toxic. It was a good relationship. And she self-sabotaged. And then, I said, what? This ain't gonna work. I moved on. Now, 3 months after I moved on, she came back apologizing. I didn't appreciate the kind of guy you was, and blah, blah, blah. Now, come to find out, she moved on. She got pregnant by some fucking loser. So now she was coming back to me to kind of have me pick up the pieces after she done had her fun. And I'm like, no, bitch, we not do boo, bitch.
Girl, stop. That's a lie.
Because your ass ain't coming back here. Now, you might go over there, but you ain't coming back here. But now to keep it moving, man, like I said, man, it's a lot of shit to get to, man. We had a Florida man killed an innocent woman on the fucking road. Because now, this motherfucker was crazy, okay? He was crazy. He was looking for his ex. I think he was going to kill his ex, or whatever the fuck he was going to do. And he ended up running an innocent couple off the road because this motherfucker thought that his ex was in that car. So I'm going to, like I always do, I'm going to take a step back. I want you guys to hear the news clip, so talk to your boy.
From Tampa Bay's #1 news station, this is the Fox 13 6 o'clock news.
Good evening, I'm Allie Corey.
And I'm Mark Wilson. I'm glad to have you with us tonight. First up here at 6, St. Pete police say that a man's trying to chase down his girlfriend and had the wrong car. Now he's charged with first-degree murder for forcing an innocent couple off the road, causing a fatal car crash. Happened Sunday night near 17th Ave North and 34th Street North. Fox 13's Kaylee Tracy's live in St. Pete with more. Kaylee, this is a crazy story. And as tragic as it is, apparently it gets even worse. What more do you know?
It does. Incredibly tragic. It doesn't even scrape the surface of this story, Mark. The chief also telling us it gets worse. The woman who died in this crash, she was on the phone with her dad and her young daughter who live in Cuba when it all happened, and they heard it all. how Arislani Blanco Medina's family say they want to remember her.
She was always happy, always lovable, never ever dull.
St. Pete police say Blanco Medina moved here from Cuba just a few months ago to be with her boyfriend, Norbelis Figueredo Campos, who moved here a year ago.
His dream obviously was to bring his girlfriend, his partner here with him, so she can provide a better family for her daughter and her parents in Cuba.
The couple was on their way to Walmart Sunday night when those dreams were cut short. Police say Kyle Hill forced their Honda off the road. They hit a concrete pole that fell and crushed the car near the intersection of 17th Avenue North and 34th Street North. Blanco Medina died, and Figueredo Campos is in critical condition.
They did not know Hill. They were trying to avoid Hill.
Police Chief Anthony Holloway says Hill got into an argument with his ex-girlfriend Sunday night, and she left in a friend's car. Hill followed.
While he was chasing a car, he called her again and said, "I got you. I'm going to kill you, your friend, and myself." But it gets worse from there. The car that he was chasing was not his girlfriend's car.
Figueredo Campos' aunt and Blanco Medina's brother spoke to us through a cousin who translated for them.
She wishes that the person who caused this and that her Norbelis and Arislani gets justice for what has happened and for cutting their...
I want to boo, man. I can't listen to that shit no more, man. Because like I just, as you guys know, I always say I'm a visual thinker. Man, when I sit back and can you imagine? Like, you in a relationship, y'all going to Walmart, whether it's to buy some fucking food, dinner, some t-shirts, some candy, or simply to get out. And out of nowhere, there is a man chasing you, trying to run you and your partner off the road. I mean, come on.
Jesus Christ.
Stories like that are very disheartening, especially when you look at the innocence of it. Like, these were two people, they didn't do nothing. They was going to Walmart, minding their fucking business. Next thing you know, they ran off the road. That's some bullshit. Boo that motherfucker, man. I hope he get life in prison and they fuck him in the ass every fucking chance they get. Because that's some bullshit. Y'all know over here at the
brand new LCP.
We don't got time for ignorance. But now, to keep the ignorance coming, man, there was a young man by the name of Caleb Wilson. He went to Southern University. You know, he was killed. He was trying to pledge. He was trying to do his thing, trying to cross the line. As they say, cross over, you know, join the fraternity, get a nice brotherhood and shit like that. And the same people who he was trying to get acceptance from, they ended up killing him. Now, I believe him and a couple others who were trying to pledge, they were told, hey, show up at this warehouse and we are going to line you guys up. They put on boxing gloves and they were punching these young men in the chest. And now in the process of that, Caleb Wilson, you know, he tragically collapsed and passed away. Now the people who were in charge of the damn fraternity, they took him to the hospital. They met up after and decided, hey, we are going to lie. We are going to say that all of us were at a park playing basketball and he passed out. That's some bullshit. Now, I believe they got 3 suspects in custody. Now, the school, Southern University, they came out and put out a statement. This is what they had to say. Come on, talk to your boy.
We do have a breaking update from Southern University following the death of the student named Caleb Wilson. University leaders issued a statement in the last half hour condemning hazing and saying it will not be tolerated. And this all stems from their internal investigation into Wilson's death. The WFBI team also uncovered new information tied to this case. Sources with direct knowledge of the investigation tell the I-team Caleb Wilson was punched before he collapsed just last week. Those sources say the story that fraternity members told to police officers about his death happening at a Breck Park, well, that was fabricated. Sources said pledges with Omega Psi were actually at a warehouse in Baton Rouge when Wilson was punched in the chest and collapsed during an unsanctioned fraternity ritual. He was later pronounced dead by doctors at an area hospital. The hospital contacted Baton Rouge police, which launched an investigation. This is a developing story, and we'll post any updates we get on WAFB.com. We do have a break.
I want to boo, man. Now, like I said, in the process of that, over the course of the past, I believe the past week or so, the suspects have been caught. One turned himself in. So I do want to dive into the news report, man, because like I said, it's some bullshit, man. Like, you got a young man who was simply in college, trying to cross over, man, trying to do a fraternity, something that he probably seen on TV, something that he probably really wanted to do with his time in college, man, because a lot of people, men and women, it's their dream, to join the fraternity or the sorority of their choice. So to even have that in your mind, in the same thing that you are striving to join, striving to be a part of that brotherhood, that's the same thing that killed you. So now, man, we're going to go to WAFB 9. They're going to give you guys some more details in the hazing investigation and also on the arrest of these motherfuckers. Get these niggas off the street. Talk to me.
We start with breaking developments from the WAFB I-team. Over the past 2 hours, a second suspect wanted for the hazing death of Southern student Caleb Wilson has been captured with the help of the Middle Louisiana Fugitive Task Force. Kyle Thurman was taken into custody around 3:30 this afternoon at his home in Port Allen. Our sources say he had a deadline to turn himself in over the weekend, and when he did not show, investigators went looking for him today. Meanwhile, when minutes mattered, arrest documents show fraternity members appear to be in no rush to get help for Southern student Caleb Wilson the night he collapsed after being hit in the chest. Documents show they took time to change his clothes before dropping him off at the hospital. Those details are raising new questions about the timeline of events the night he died. It comes as funeral arrangements have finally been made to remember his young life. Our chief investigator, Chris Nakamoto, is here now with more on what he's learned today. And Chris, it is a lot.
3 individuals are all facing felony hazing charges. A second suspect, as you just said, Kyle Thurman, is in custody tonight in connection with Wilson's death. The East Baton Rouge Parish Coroner's Office confirmed to WAFB today Wilson's body was released to a funeral home late last week, but tonight the cause and manner of death is still pending further testing. This is exclusive video of 23-year-old Caleb McCrae walking out of the East Baton Rouge Parish Jail late Friday night. It happened hours after Commissioner Keena Kimball set his bond at $100,000. McCrae is charged with the most serious charges tied to the death of Caleb Wilson: criminal hazing and manslaughter, both felonies. Now we've learned frat members from Omega Psi Phi who were gathered at this white warehouse where pledges were taking blows to the chest with boxing gloves appeared to be in no rush to get Wilson medical assistance.
I can't hear that shit no more. Get them niggas off the streets. Fucking bums. Like I said, bro, this young man lost his life now. His family, his friends, students, staff gotta grieve this young man all over some bullshit. And that's why in the past, when I believe maybe about 2 years ago, I had an episode where I spoke about hazing, and I spoke about, fraternities and sororities that do that shit, man, because y'all got to find a new fucking way. And, it was something that I wanted to do in college, but, I was told by somebody who had gone through the hazing, hey, I wouldn't advise you to do this because they are going to haze you. They are going to do X, Y, Z. And I'm like, nigga. If I'm just now, again, most schools, will tell you hazing is illegal. It's not something that's done, but hazing 100% still happens. It happens off campus. Sometimes it happens on campus and you got to keep your mouth shut because now if you talk, you're not going to be able to make the line. So it still happens. As we see now with time and time again, we had I believe I covered a couple stories last year where I believe multiple girls that died or were seriously injured during hazing. It was a young man killed, I believe, a couple months ago during hazing. Hazing still fucking happens. And I don't know if anything can be done about it because you can't really monitor the type of shit. Because they have frat houses. They have, like, as we see in the case right here, there was an off-campus warehouse. I believe that something needs to be done. I'm not sure what exactly can be done when, like I said, man, a lot of it happens off campus and you can't really monitor what happens off campus because at that time, is it the school's fault or should they kind of enforce steeper penalties for these frats and sororities that engage in this behavior? Or should some of them get banned outright in general? Now, I believe that probably is kind of harsh, but something has to be done to rectify these hazing things. I mean, now to keep it moving down the line. Now, I got to play y'all some of the dumbest shit I heard in 2025. Now, Jessie Woo, I believe she has a podcast called Just a Couple Things. And recently, she was on her podcast and she spoke about how a lot of times men who like natural beauty, that they like it as a means of control or because they can't afford that woman. Jesus
Christ.
And I'm going to hit the boot because that is some of the dumbest shit I ever heard in my fucking life. But let me let you guys hear it directly from the horse's mouth.
I think men should see us in our natural state before they get in a real relationship with us.
Whenever I've heard a man say, let me see what you look like with no makeup. Let me see what you look like without the hair. I feel that man is telling you that he does not have the money to finance your beauty upkeep. Don't come over here thinking that I'm going to go to Sephora, get you some makeup. So I need to see you without all that because I want to strip you of all that because I ain't got it. When a man says that to you, he wants to strip you of everything. He doesn't want you to have the thought process of maintaining yourself.
I want to boo that shit. Now,
do you think...
Let me take a second and let me address that, man, because I hate these type of topics, you know, the men versus woman, when a woman, when a man, because all that shit does is divide people. Like, as women, you guys need men. And me as a black man, I'm never going to sit up and say I don't need a black woman because I do. I wouldn't be alive at 35 years old if it wasn't for black women. When I first came to Georgia, I had nowhere to stay. My cousin, who was a black woman, I slept on her fucking sofa for the first 2 months after I came to Georgia. Her roommate, she had a roommate, a black woman. She actually, she was okay, and she allowed me to sleep on the sofa in the living room. That was 2 black women who helped me transition straight from New York City to Georgia. I want to clap it up for them, man. My teacher in high school, in middle school, my teacher, Miss Sangleton, both black women, they played a massive part in me being 35 years of age. Never been arrested, never been on alcohol, never smoked a day in my life, and I've stayed out of trouble even though I grew up in the inner city in the Bronx, New York. And a lot of that was due to black men and especially, one more time, the beautiful, amazing black sisters out there, man. So that's why I don't like these topics, man. Go to therapy because you can tell like she's speaking from her past experiences that probably weren't as pleasant. Go to therapy so you can unload that trauma so that way when you meet somebody who actually appreciates your natural beauty, who actually thinks you look good without makeup and tells you every fucking day, then that way you don't take it as a sense of control or that man is telling you that he cannot afford your beauty upkeep. Because that's some bullshit.
Ooh, you a lie.
But now to keep it moving now right now we're going to start speeding through some of these topics. Now, Omarion, recently he was on a Breakfast Club and I believe Charlamagne, they asked him about music now and how R&B, because if you guys listen to R&B now, it's not the same as it used to be, man. Like when I was growing up, we had Jaheim, we had Carl Thomas, we had Tank. Now Tank is still around, but R&B back then was more smooth. It was more emotional. It was like in the rain, spinning around, singing. Like we had Silk, we had Keith Sweat. Like R&B was sexy, but now R&B is kind of infused or blended together with hip hop. And again, of course, we know times change now. Like times have changed, social media has played a massive part in those times shifting. And also a lot of the narratives that we see now on social media. As we see with these topics like these topics of, what a man should do and a man like a lot of these topics now make it less fun for men to actually be vulnerable and express themselves because you get called sassy. You have a lot of negative things that are said about you when you do show your quote unquote emotional side, when you open up. But this is what Omarion had to say when he was answering a question about why love making music is not the same. Talk to me, O.
Don't sing to the vagina anymore.
Yeah.
Like they don't ask. They don't.
That's fact.
beg.
Yeah, the vagina has changed.
Has it?
Yeah. You can get them made now. You gotta make sure they're not genetically modified.
Yeah, the vagina has changed.
The vagina was the same. What do you mean it's changed?
It
changed.
It definitely changed. Yeah, I feel like, there's this thing called soft girl era, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I don't know, I feel like it's so materialistic, you know what I mean?
Man, you LCP!
Swoon a woman, you have to really find a particular type and you have to appeal to her, differently than you maybe had to appeal to her, generally speaking, back in the day. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I would say it's different, how you can wake up those senses. Mm-hmm. It depends on the woman, you know what I mean? Because some women will not be turned on by a nice guy. You know what I mean? Some women get turned on by assholes and people who are disrespectful and call them out their name. Some women are really just into that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Some women, vagina only get wet with money. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think it's a little bit different, and you have to be more specific if you really want to entice a woman. You know what I mean? Lyrically.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't that require us to vibrate high though? And what I mean by that
Facts.
is if a woman is only used to eating fast food, but she out the country and she eat a real fruit, and you're like, damn, I didn't know
mango in Jamaica.
Like, ooh, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So don't that require us to vibrate higher?
I agree. Yeah. I agree. That's the tip I'm on. You know what I mean? Outside of being mature and having my experiences, really just being able to have a good conversation, an in-depth conversation. Somebody asked me the other day, like, what are some of the questions that I ask on, a first gathering? I don't call them dates. You know what I mean?
Gathering?
Yeah,
first gathering?
Yeah, gathering.
Okay, why do you call it a first gathering?
Because I think a date carries a certain level of expectation, whether that be a place. Or
that's a fact.
A price budget. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I think a gathering kind of keeps it on a very just
we can stop it right there, but clap it up for O. But a lot of what he was saying is true, man. Going back to the topic early in the episode where Jamal Woodard was speaking about, I guess dating outside his race. Now, a lot of times first date expectations are big. Like, again, not all. I'm not going to pull a Jesse Wu and say, when a woman, no. But some women now, especially those who are addicted to social media, who scroll endlessly and just get this false expectation or perception about first dates. Because, when I was like, let me put myself back out there and trying to find somebody. Like, the first date had to be somewhere big. Again, not all. But a lot of times that first date had to be somewhere, the first date, you got to show me, you got to prove to me that you want me. And by doing that, you got to take me somewhere nice. You got to set the tone. And a lot of times now, as a brother, you hear the quote, don't introduce me to a vibe that you can't maintain. Meaning, if the first date is nice, now we can't go from nice date to now we doing something so small as walking in the park. But, to me, walking in the park, again, I'm not saying you got to do that, but like that's when you get to talk, you get to know somebody uninterrupted. Like, you're not sitting down there in a fucking restaurant and now you guys are eating and trying to talk as you got fucking steak in your teeth as you, nigga. Like, when I remember, man, like I always said before, I said this in the past, man, like my best date ever, man. I walked through the entire fucking Central Park, man, from 110th Street. We walked all the way down and we came out at the end of the park on 59th Street in Columbus Circle. It took us about 4 fucking hours. It was the summertime. It was nice outside. They was shooting movies down there. It was so many times we stopped. I bought her ice cream. drank, we kept walking. They were shooting the movie. We stopped, we sat down on the grass, we talked for about 45 minutes. We got up, kept walking. Man, that was the best. The best fucking first date, man. Like I said, we got to talk uninterrupted. It was like, they don't do those type of dates anymore. Like, you got to find somebody who's actually who's intentional, and also somebody who simply wants to get to know you, because that way you guys get to really have the conversations and dive into the essence, the beauty of simply getting to know somebody, as opposed to getting to know what this person can do for you. A story that kind of hit the airwaves. Now, in Georgia, there was twin brothers. Now, they were missing. They were supposed to catch their flight back to Boston, but they both were found dead 24 hours later in the Georgia mountains. Now, the GBI came out and said that they believe the death of those twin brothers was a murder-suicide. Now, the family is saying that something sounds suspicious. But let's dive into some of the news article. Come on, talk to me.
A mystery on Bell Mountain. The bodies of twin brothers found in Towns County near the North Carolina line, 90 miles from their home in Lawrenceville. The GBI initially investigating this as a murder-suicide, but tonight the family says they're not buying it. 11 Alive's Cody Alcorn spoke with them just a few hours ago. He's live for us in our newsroom with more on this investigation and what the family has to say, Cody.
Well, Jennifer, the brothers Kydir and Nazir Lewis were twins. The GBI says a hiker found their bodies at the top of Bell Mountain on Saturday morning. Both had been shot. The family couldn't believe it when they got the call hours later, knowing the twin brothers were supposed to be in Boston visiting friends.
We want answers. We want to know exactly what happened to the twins.
Nazir and Kydir Lewis.
Those my nephews.
Just a few weeks shy of their 20th birthday.
I can get past it. They're gone.
The twins' uncle, Raheem Bronner.
They're very protective of each other. They love each other. They're like inseparable. So I couldn't imagine them hurting each other because I never even seen them get into a fist fight before.
The GBI saying their preliminary investigation points to the twins' death being a murder-suicide.
We knew right away that wasn't true.
Family says the twins had a 7 a.m. flight to Boston last Friday.
Right there, we never heard from them. They missed their flight. We don't know what happened.
24 hours later, the twins' body found 90 miles away.
How they end out in the mountains, they don't hike out there. They've never even been out there. They don't know nothing about Hiwassee, Georgia. They never even heard of Bell Mountains. So how did they end up right there?
A mystery this family is trying to solve.
They had a huge support system. Like, we know them that they wouldn't do anything like this. So to say that they did this to each other when they come from a family of love, and they love each other, they always together, we don't believe that. They didn't do this to each other. Something happened in those mountains, and we want answers.
Did reach out to the GBI tonight. A spokesperson says the twins' autopsies is finished, but they're awaiting additional forensic testing to be finished, as well as the investigation portion of this, before they issue a final ruling on the brothers' causes of death.
I ain't gonna lie, man. Man, something sounds fishy. But like I said, man, when these stories break, you know, you can't dive down the fucking conspiracy theorist hole, because that's when you get made to look foolish. Now, remember a couple weeks back where I think I mentioned it on here, where you had two black folks. They disappeared on a lake here in Georgia. Now, the woman's body was found first. Now the body of the man hadn't turned up at that time. So again, on the Shady Room, fucking Hollywood Unlocked, they had some conspiracies, man. You know, the black man killed this black woman and, you know, he escaped somewhere. He's living his life. They got to catch him. Now, 3 weeks after that, they did eventually find his body in that same lake in which the black woman also vanished. Now, authorities believe that it was an accident, but like I said, the fact that they did not find his body initially, you had folks out here saying he killed her, you know, he didn't want to be with her no more, and he's somewhere in another country, he left the state. Like, folks, they always react in the moment And sometimes, like, you kind of put bad information out there. So I do want to sit back. I want to relax. This is a story I'm going to monitor because I want to know what the fuck happened. Was it really a murder-suicide, or was there something more nefarious at play? But now to keep going down the line. Now, I want to end this episode, man, because there was a story of a missing University of Pittsburgh student. She disappeared while on spring break in DR. You know, she was last seen on the beach, I believe at about 4 to 5 a.m. Now, again, let this be a message to you guys, man. If you are in a country, you are in a place, and you don't know the area, you don't live there, do not be on the beach at 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. I understand it's spring break, you want to have fun, but all we got to do is think back to the situation with Natalie Holloway. You guys remember that, where I believe over a decade ago, she disappeared. You know, I still think up until now, they never found her body. Now, somebody's in jail right now. You know, he confessed and finally admitted after decades that he actually did murder Natalie Holloway. I believe she was killed in Aruba. I believe she went there for spring break or some holiday, and you get comfortable, you mess with the locals or just folks in general. And now you begin to let your guard down in a place in which you are not familiar with. But before I get out of here, I believe up until now, they still have not found the body of this missing University of Pittsburgh student. Now, authorities said that they believe she probably drowned on the lake. But they have a suspect in custody. He got released. I believe that now he's coming back to the U.S. He was the last person seen alive with her. But they don't have the evidence to actually know what happened. I want to play you guys a story, then we're going to get out of here, man.
Surveillance video shows missing University of Pittsburgh student Sudiksha Konanki leaving a Punta Cana hotel lobby with a group of friends at approximately 4:15 a.m. on March 6th, a source close to the investigation told CNN. CNN previously verified a screen grab from different surveillance footage showing the friends walking around the hotel property around the same time. Konanki was reported missing later that day after she failed to return from the beach. Authorities tell CNN they are investigating her disappearance. The friend group and hotel staff are being questioned, and officials are reviewing additional camera footage. There's also a search party of over 300 people looking for Konanki, according to a Dominican Republic National Police spokesperson.
So like I said, man, I want to end with that because I know spring break is coming up, vacations, people are going to have time. You guys are going to travel. You guys might even go to DR, Mexico, other parts of the world, other countries. Simply be smart. If you meet somebody out there that's local, even if you meet somebody who's American, you don't know these people. Take the time. Do not let your guard down because that might be the last thing you ever do. I understand, like, people can be nice. They can be friendly. It might be somebody who says, you know what? You're not from here. Like, let me show you around. Like, just be smart, be mindful, and please do not wander around with the locals at 4 o'clock a.m., 5 a.m. Don't take no drinks from nobody. Don't take no food from folks that you don't know because I don't care how nice, how sweet somebody is. Motherfuckers out here do some fucked up shit. So like I said, you guys out there who stay locked into that
brand new LCP.
Like I always say, man, let your mama, your auntie, your cousin, your baby niece, nephew, your coworker, like your grandma, let them know to lock into that LCP. And again, my Cash App is $NYC Story 718. My Venmo is Lunchroom Chatter Pod. Stay locked in. Stay supporting your boy. I love y'all, man. You guys out there, man, who stay, trust me, I see it. You guys who spread the word, who share things, who tag me. Like, this podcast is independent. I love every fucking one of you guys who play a massive part in letting me know that what I do is appreciated. Y'all know what time it is. This is that
brand new LCP.